Good morning and welcome to the next episode on the RetroBrown channel. During the month of RetroBrown, we are doing a solo run with just Ekans today, the poison type snake Pokemon, iconic in Team Rocket. Let's see how we do here, because hindsight, the Arbok run was actually quite difficult, and considering with the evolution stage beforehand, yeah, we've got a bigger challenge in front of us here with a base stat total of 288. Yeah, I'm not looking too forward to trying to get through some points of the game with this Pokemon, but oh well. We're going to call ourselves Jessie for today in homage to Jessie from the anime. And we will call our rival for today. What we're going to go with? Going to go with Thrivey, one of my subscribers from the last couple of months. Thank you for subscribing and welcome to the channel. So let's have a quick chat about our base stat total. We've got our best stat is 60 base attack, and that pretty much that'll give you a good idea of how difficult this is going to be, considering we've got pretty bad HP, we've got pretty bad defense, and the special and speed are very mediocre. What we do get though is a decent moveset, so we're going to get Rap and Leah to start off with, which is going to be pretty good against Brock, and it actually means I'm going to give Brock a try at the level cap. Or should I? I don't know. We can get Poison Sting, which could help us out, but Rap strats, even as cheesy as they are, might be the way we need to go. Other moves that we're going to pick up though, we're going to get Bite at level 17, which is a decent move, Glare at level 24, which 75% accuracy is not the best thing, but it's better than a 50% accuracy. What I'm more interested in right now though is our TM moveset. We get Toxic, of course, we get Body Slam, which always makes me happy. We get Mega Drain, we get Earthquake, Dig, Fissure, and we even get Rock Slide. So we got some very good coverage moves to deal with quite a lot of the Elite Four in the late game, especially Rock Slide and Earthquake. But also getting Mega Drain as well should help us out in some scenarios. Like if we could Badge Boost glitch a little bit, then Mega Drain would become very, very useful, but we're going to have to wait until later in the game to figure if we can actually do that or not. Now, we do go against the Light Years trainer, and we do take a loss, so we go up to level 11 where we can learn Poison Sting, but predominantly the reason why we've gone up to level 11 is just we want a bit more to work with. And after getting down to 6 HP against the Diglett of all things, I wasn't sure whether we could actually beat this Sandrew, and then I realised as we went further into this fight how overpowered the Rap strats are. In Gen 1, Rap works differently to other generations. If you get wrapped, you are immobilized, you cannot move. So once you have been wrapped, it is if someone just keeps wrapping you and they outspeed you, as long as they've got PP, you will just ultimately lose more and more HP over the turns. As you can see here, we're level 12 going into the Onyx here, and once we've set up all of our Leers, we can then wrap and do big damage on the Onyx. Now, one of the other things about Wrap, especially when it comes to the move Bide, you can use Wrap once and you might wrap them 5 times, but Wrap will only do damage for the first hit. So that it'll only accumulate the damage from Bide on that first hit. And it's a good way to get through these battles. I mean, we did go up to level 16 here to actually get past Brock. I mean, even level 16 we didn't do all too well, really. So let's try this one more time. We did get quite close there, and we did get quite close at a lower level, so it's going to be around about this level where we actually can make this possible. And there's no point of us using Poison Sting. Yeah, absolutely no point is using Poison Sting, because if we were going for the poison chip accumulation, well, Brock's got 6 full heals per Pokemon, so it's better to just go for Wrap after you've utilised Leah. And there we go, we can get our first badge and we can move through to Mount Moon. We pick up Bite on the way as leveling up to level 17, 18, and that helps us through a lot of these next couple of fights, taking advantage of that 60 base attack. Now, Misty is going to be a weird one. We could go Nugget Bridge first so we can actually go and get Dig, and that probably will be the optimal play, but let's see how we do starting off with just the current moveset that we have. So we do have Bite, which is a much more powerful move, but if we utilise Wrap strats, that would work if we could outspeed, and Yeah, Water Gun is just doing tons of damage, so I think it's best we level up a little bit first before going against Misty again. We'll get a few levels up on the Nugget Bridge, we'll get our speed up, because we can't outspeed any of our Pokemon, then, oh, for God's sake, we lost against Pidgeotto. Let's try this again. The Pidgeotto is always the big blocker in this fight. If it uses Sand Attack on you, it debilitates you. If it gets big hits in and gets you down to low HP, again it's debilitating, but every other Pokemon after that is nowhere near the same threat. I mean, the start Pokemon as the final Pokemon is definitely a threat, but usually the Rattata, unless it uses Hyper Fang on you, nah, it's not really a threat. And of course the Abra doesn't know any move but Teleport, so it's an easy fight. There we go, we do beat the rival at around about the level 19 mark, and from here we can try going against Misty again. Now we've got Dig. No, we don't have Dig yet. I just went straight back for this. This is the attempt before I got Dig. Okay, so this time we just went in with Bite Strats. And we didn't do it anywhere near as good. So, yeah, we probably are going to need to get Dig. But I went up a couple more levels just to be safe, because by the time I got to the end of Nugget Bridge, I still hadn't... I got up to level 24 and I still hadn't got to the point of getting Dig. But we did learn Glare at level 24. So I thought, you know what, let's give this another try. If we can paralyze him, that means we can actually outspeed and use Wrap and use the cheesy strats. So once we've got it under wraps, we can just chip away at it until we get the win. And there we go. Glare Wrap is a decent strategy to use. Now we've finally completed Nugget Bridge, we can go and get Dig, because it is going to be such a key move for us on this entire run. The most annoying thing though is we don't want to go against Psychic types, because as you saw there, one Confusion, even though he's about 8 levels less than us, did a ton of damage, so we need to make sure we don't get hit by it quite a lot. We'll get rid of Leah, we'll use Dig, and we'll also go pick up Body Slam on the way to the rival on SSN. So, the SSN is not going to be too much of a problem for us, the rival here I mean. With Body Slam being a great move such as it is, if we can get hits in early, or we can use Bite to try and get flinches, we should be okay. Like, Bite's doing half damage against the Raticate. I mean, we are level 26 here, which is very high, and even at level 26 we do lose to the Kadabra, who now knows Confusion. We are very, very weak to Psychic type moves, and Gen 1 is just... Psychic types reign supreme in this generation. I would say, out of the two, Psychic and Water types are the most prominent types in this generation, like the most powerful types. So a Pokemon that likes to Starmie is just overpowered sometimes. But then you've got Gengar, who's also a poison ghost type who does incredibly well, but the main reason for that I feel is because it can get Psychic type moves. But of course the legendaries in this generation are all Psychic types as well, with Mewtwo and Mew. Yeah, Psychic and Water are very overpowered. What we don't have a problem against is Surge, and straight away he gets demoted this video. Annoyingly we can't learn Thunderbolt, it would be a great coverage move, but we don't have great special to take advantage of that. Moving on to Rock Tunnel with 3 badges in tow, we can now head against the Pokemaniacs. And again, the Pokemaniacs for quite a while now, on quite a lot of videos, have actually been the more annoying trainers to fight aside from the Hikers. And it's pretty much because they've either got the Cubone who knows Bone Club and can do big damage against poison types, or they've got the Slowpokes that can do Psychic type damage. So getting through these Pokemaniacs is actually really difficult in some runs that we do. And you can see here, I'm 10 levels above this Cubone and 10 levels above this Slowpoke, but either way we're having a tough time. We have to utilise Dig to get around their moves. And yeah, Rock Tunnel was a difficult one for the Ekans. That brings us on to Lavender's Tower, and of course that means another rival fight. We're at level 35 here, which is very, very high. We're nearly at the point of learning our last move, which is Acid, which is a weird last move to learn on a level up moveset, but hey, Gen 1 for you guys. So we're level 35 going into this fight, and we are still losing, and we didn't even get close to winning that. So you know what, I'm going to leave this fight for now. We're going to go over to Celadon, and we should have a much easier fight against Erica. With us being the poison type, we should do decent against this gym. We've got Dig to work with as well. We can use Screech to lower their defenses, and this works for us well. We can tank enough hits even though our defenses aren't the greatest and our special isn't the greatest, but it's just the move types that help us out here. Petal Dance can't do much against us, and of course Dig is super effective against tuber Pokemon. And there we go, we get the 4th badge pretty good, and we also get Mega Drain, which will be helpful in some fights as well. But I'm not going to teach it yet. We'll see how we do against the rest of Celadon, where we've got Giovanni to take on the Rocket Corner. We're at level 37 here, which is one of the highest levels I've had to be to, like, at this point in the game for quite a while. But we're just really finding out how much of a difficult time we're having against the rival. We are going to have to level up higher. So now we've beaten Giovanni and got the Self-Scope. How are we going to do at level 37 in this fight? I'm not happy with how high a level we are, but we are first stage evolution Pokemon. This is going to be a tough one, especially with a base stat total of 288. It's one of the lower ones, I would say. It's not all too far off like the first stage bug Pokemon. They're like 80 points off. Crazy, isn't it? Anyway, we do beat the rival this time round with a bit more luck and the higher levels, and we can flush out Lavender Tower quite quickly after that. Dig is a great move for Lavender Tower, just because of all the Ghost type Pokemon there, and Body Slam will just sweep through the majority of the rockets. Now we've got the Poke Flute, we can open up the game a bit more. Should we go to Koga or should we go to Silphcore next? That's the question we need to ask ourselves. So I opted to go to Celadon City and then move over to Koga in Fuchsia City. With us having Earth type, like ground type moves, this should be an easy fight. We're going into this at level 41, and we're not even still one-shotting these coffins. We need to use Screech as and when we can, so we can actually one-shot with Dig. And the reason why I like Screech is it lowers defense by 2 stages. You don't get that from Aaliyah, so if you can use Screech and then use Dig, we should one-shot the majority of his team. And annoyingly, we are losing our Dig PP because we got smoke screened. Now, if we can Dig and they can use self-destruct, oh, it didn't work out that way. That's annoying, but this is sometimes what happens. And I've never had such a problem against Koga, especially with trying to hit before. But yeah, we just didn't have a great time against Koga. We couldn't hit him on that first attempt, and Dig was just not doing enough damage to deal one-hit KOs. We do get the Dig self-destruct combo though, and that means we can move on to the next gym. And you know what, we need to go and open up Saffron City, and we can go and do Saffron City's Silphcore. It would be great if we could learn Psychic, but why would a poison snake learn Psychic? These are the questions I ask myself at 4 in the morning as I record this audio. As you can tell, audio quality is probably a bit more monotone today, and that's because I'm quite tired. But I had to do this just to get these videos out, and hopefully you guys appreciate that. So, Silphcore is not too much of a problem really, until we get to the rival. Starts off with his Pidgeot, and we're just going to start Screeching. At this point I think he still does have Sand Attack, but I'm realising, do we have the best moveset to deal with this fight? We can Glare on the Execute to try and give ourselves a bit more to work with. It works in our favour, but he does set up a Reflect. 2 Body Slams will take it down after that, and from there we just need to Screech against the Gyarados, get it down as much as we can in defense, and then it's a one-shot. We can't outspeed the Alakazam even at level 43 though, so it's level up time really, which is kind of annoying. Level 45 we're going into this fight, and we're having a bit of an easier time. We do get the Execute paralyzed on the first turn, but it takes 4 Body Slams to take it down once it's set up a Reflect. I'm honestly debating that Screech might be the move we need to keep for the entire run here, At level 45, we still can't outspeed the Alakazam, so we went up to level 50. Level 50 was the first time we could outspeed that Alakazam that is 15 levels below us. And that doesn't bode well for the Elite Four. It really doesn't bode well. Because if we need to be 15 levels above to outspeed it, yeah, crazy, isn't it? We're not going to be a low level to complete the Elite Four. This is going to be interesting, to say the least, from here on out. We do manage to beat him at level 15. That moves us on to Giovanni. And Giovanni's a whitewash, considering we do have the move Dig. Now, I haven't taught myself Earthquake yet, because there are places that I do still need to dig out of. And Dig is a good move still. It's annoying that it's a 2-turn move, so essentially that makes it 50 base power per turn. But it's still a good move. We beat Giovanni and move on to Sabrina, and I was wondering, you know, why am I doing this now? I probably should be better going over to Blaine right now. But we end up having a very easy fight because we just start critting everything. We don't take much damage from Psybeam on Venomoth, and the Alakazam goes for Reflect. So we get a first time win against Sabrina, of all things. And I would say that the rival's Alakazam is just coded so much better than hers. The fact that they'll use Reflect, they'll use Psywave, instead of using moves like Psybeam or Psychic. It's crazy, isn't it, that Sabrina, the Psychic-type trainer, is not the best Psychic-type user, even just down due to one Pokemon. That moves us on to Blaine, and of course, as long as you've got a Ground-type move, this is a decently easy fight until you get to Arcanine and he Fire Blasts you in the face. Yay, Gen 1. I always find it weird still that Blaine's coded to use Super Potions randomly. Either way, when we can get some better luck, we can get it paralysed with Body Slam, we can do decent damage out with Dig, we managed to get a second time win against Blaine. That brings us on to the final gym leader of this run, and that of course is Giovanni, who, as a ground type specialist, will pretty much go down to Dig himself. He will go down to ground type moves on majority of his Pokemon. Dugtrio is probably the scariest one here. If it uses Dig on us, we are done, but it doesn't decide to use Dig here. So we use Dig instead. We take down the Nidoqueen, we take down the Nidoking after a Dig and a Body Slam, and then finally is Rhydons, which we're just going to use Screech on and then Dig to get ourselves the win. Now, that's all 8 gym badges done. That just leaves the Pokemon League with just an Ekans. Hands down, out of the 2 Rocket Pokemon, or the 3 Rocket Pokemon with Meowth, Koffing and Ekans, I would hands down happily put my hands up and say, hands down, put my hands up, that makes absolutely no sense, RetroBrown. I would say that Ekans is hands down the worst of the 3 Rocket Pokemon. Koffing has got great defences, Meowth has got high speed to get the crit chances in Gen 1 and a better moveset. I would say Ekans is easily the worst of the 3 Rocket Pokemon. We'll soon find out when it gets to the end, and we've done both a Koffing run and the Ekans run. We've done the Meowth run way back in the past. And we'll soon see who the best Rocket Pokemon is. We do take a loss against the rival, and we go and pick up Mimic of all things, because it is a cheesy strat to use, but sometimes we need it. Now we can go and get Earthquake, we can get Rock Slide, which we have done here, because they're going to be more prominently powerful moves to be able to use here. We Mimic Agility to badge boost a bit and get our speed up, because we know for a fact that that Alakazam is incoming. We can use Earthquake on the Rhyhorn, one hit KO. Body Slam the Execute, and it will be a 2-hit KO. Annoyingly, we do get Leech Seeded. Of course we get Leech Seeded. And we don't one-shot against the Gyarados with Rock Slide. We do outspeed the Alakazam, and thankfully it goes for Reflect. And then the 4 times effective Rock Slide can take out the Charizard in 1. I don't understand how this Ekans can learn Rock Slide, if I'm being honest, so Can I get an explanation in the comments of how an Ekans can actually use Rock Slide? It's... yeah. Okay, that moves us on to the Elite Four, and from here, the Dugong is only going to use Rest against us because it is a Psychic type move, and that's the way it's coded. Which means we can either mimic a move here, or we can wait for the Slowbro. We just need to get through these first couple of Pokemon, which are going to be annoying. Especially the Spike Cannon on Cloyster, which does over a third of our HP. We take it down, and that brings us into Slowbro, who will just use Amnesia. But that also means we can mimic Amnesia ourselves. And once we fully set up, we can just Body Slam our way to victory. We can get a few critical hits there, move on to using Earthquake against the Jinx, and then Lapras comes out, and we're going to use Rock Slide, which is super effective because it's an Ice type, but the Water type does not help it out there. Thanks to all the Amnesias, a Hydro Pump does barely any damage, and we do take a win against Lorelei. That then brings us on to Bruno. Now, we're level 63 going into this, we're just going to go for the Earthquakes. Most of his Pokemon are very defensively weak, so it's not going to be worth our time to try and Badge Boost. What we are going to do is pick the move Ice Punch up, which will be great to use against the Onix, and if we go against Pokemon which we think we should be better off freezing. Yeah. Either way, we get through to the Machamp, we Body Slam it into the ground, and for some reason all he decides he wants to do is try and use Fissure, but he doesn't outspeed us. We beat Bruno first time and move on to Agatha, which should be, if we can outspeed it, an easy fight thanks to Earthquake. So, we're not even going to try and mimic Hypnosis here, we're just going to go straight for the all-in method. We're going to Rock Slide the Golbat, and not only we do get confused, but we manage to take it out after 2 Rock Slides. Earthquake takes out the Haunter, the Arbok, and finally the last Gengar. We get confused, but 1 Earthquake gets us the win. Wasn't expecting a little Ekans to take out Agatha first time, but hey ho, this is why we do these runs. That brings us on to Lance, and Lance is going to be a problem. Yes, we're a Poison type, which means that 3 out of his 5 Pokemon will only use status moves against, well, not use stat moves against us. So as long as we can get past the Gyarados, we can use Agility and Badge Boost a bit, and from there, we should be golden. The only threat now is going to be the Aerodactyl, who can use Hyper Beam on us. But the Dragonairs and the Dragonites are not going to be a problem whatsoever because they've got Agility and they've got Barrier. So, as long as we can take out these Pokemon, there we go. We've pretty much won now. That Dragonite's not going to use anything but Psychic type moves, so we can just use whatever move we want and win this fight at full HP. Lance is a very easy fight when you're using Poison type Pokemon, just because of the way Gen 1 is coded. That brings us to Thrivey the Champion. Now here we need to try and get the right moves to work with here. And Rock Sliding against the Pidgeot is the best thing, but yeah. Big Psychic from Alakazam that outspeeds us is not a good scenario. So I use the last of my rare candies here. We go up to level 71. If we can't do this, then I'm going to have to go out with the Elite Four, train, and oh, for God's sake. Oh, we had to go back out and train. And what level do we have to be before we actually outspeed that Alakazam? So we are going into this at level 78. It's more and more of these first stage evolution Pokemon are having to be in these higher levels to be able to do this. But level 78 we actually can deal enough damage to take out that Alakazam. Annoyingly, we still didn't outspeed it at this level. Yeah, we still didn't outspeed it. But from here we can learn Hypnosis, put the Executor to sleep. Or we have a battle where we both miss Hypnosis the entire time. But we want Hypnosis to work against the final Charizard. We also want it for the Gyarados, who can do big damage on us. But Rock Slide is a great move to have here, just because it's super effective against Gyarados. And finally, oh, we don't outspeed this Charizard. We're 13 levels above him, we still can't outspeed it. That is crazy. And this is not looking good. Can we get the Rock Slide in? We can, and we get the critical hit giving us the win. But I'm not happy with that. Level 78. That is a very high level to be able to finish the game on in Gen 1. and that'll whack Ekans way down the rankings. Either way, let's see what time we finished on. Level 78 at 5 hours 14 minutes. Time is not too bad, but that level is awful. Oh. I think we need an easier Pokemon on the next run. What do you guys reckon? We've done quite a lot of first stage evolution Pokemon. Let's see what we get here on the next spin. First up is Staryu. That has come up on the wheel quite a lot, and I don't know, I don't fancy doing a first stage evolution Pokemon again. Next up is Haunter. Oh, Haunter, that would round out the Ghastly line. That could be the best shout here. And last up is Hypno. We've literally just done the Drowsy run, so no, I think Haunter is going to be the right choice here. Quite happy with that. Either way, if you've got to this point in the video, guys, I hope you're enjoying this month of full videos, you legends. And I will see you tomorrow for the Haunter run. Take care.